Hi everyone, welcome back to Cheesy Thumbprints. If you have the issue of sometimes worrying about finances, are you collecting too much? Are you spending too much money? Well then this video is for you. In this video I'm going to share 7 ways that will help you to either continue to collect and save money, or to just deal with this whole idea before you might even end up out in the cold like this. Before we start, I'd just like to let you know that this whole video post is going to be in a blog post, and I'll have the link below, and you'll be able to go and read it for yourself and look at each point and comment too if you like. It's my first blog post on my Cheesy Thumbprints blog on WordPress. Okay, now back to our discussion. The number one way that you can avoid the collection agents from calling, I shouldn't be laughing, it can be serious. I mean, the whole thing is kind of addictive, isn't it? I mean, we do all get a hit from purchasing that 4K, that Blu-ray, that simple DVD. Or if you're into collecting action figures and that sort of thing, it's great, it's cool. You know, one of the things that really makes me smile is to once in a while, I'll go around, I'll pick up an item from my collection, you know, whether it's a Star Trek figure or a Xena action figure, the Munsters, whatever. I will look at those things and it'll smile. It'll bring me a little bit of joy. And I do confess that I probably have way too many things, and I am going to try to deal with those soon. Even in this room, you see behind me here, there you'll see a little bit of odd collection. Some of the things were toys. There's an old Battlestar Galactica Land Ram, I think it was called, that we had growing up. I think actually it was my brother's, but if you know him or if he ever sees this, I'm keeping it, bro. I'm keeping it. I don't care. I'm not giving it back. Things that we just collect, and this is what this whole video is about. So the number one way to just stop all of it, to get things back under control, is to go cold turkey. That's just cease buying. Do not buy anything anymore until things get completely under control. Are you right? Am I right? Yes, that is one way, but it's really, I think, I'm going to guess that it's really quite harsh for most of us to take a look at things that way, that we're just going to completely go cold turkey and not buy it. I mean, what's the point of living, right? I mean, there are some things we have to enjoy, but I do have some more solutions to this problem of how to get our finances back under control by actually not purchasing as much or dealing with this issue in different ways. Okay, so number one would be, if you can, go cold turkey. Do not purchase, do not look at, do not purchase any more items. Okay, that's number one. Number two is to restrict your purchases. To really slow down on what you're buying by setting parameters, setting guidelines and rules that you have to follow. And one of those could be that you're going to restrict your buying habits to cheaper options. This means you either do something like you limit the set amount of money you're going to spend, even if it's $5. If you say, look, all I can budget is $10 toward my entertainment, my DVD collection, my CDs, whatever, then you do that, say, per month. And if it takes you 2 months to get something, it takes 2 months. You could do it that way as well. But if you do feel that you do like to purchase at least once a month something, then begin to really restrict and say, I've only got $5 or $10 to spend, and where am I going to spend it? Well, the best place you can even think of are used options. You know, you can just go through cheaper places and find bargains at different places, like charity shops or places that you can give and also get for a very low price. So number two is to really restrict and set boundaries on yourself as to how much you can spend per item. Number three is to purge. To go through everything you have and begin to select the items that you know, and I know there's some in my bedroom. There's a couple of boxes of DVDs in my bedroom that I'm never going to watch, that I'm never going to see again. And perhaps I've really lost interest in them. Not your favorite things that you've carried with you down through your life or your collecting hobby, because you don't need to do that. You don't need to get completely drastic. But if you're anything like me, you're probably going to know, you probably know that there are a lot of items laying around that you're just not displaying, you're not interested in anymore, and you really don't foresee that you're going to use them in any way. So you can purge those things. You can purge those things by trying eBay, Marketplace. You can give them away, as I said in number 2. You can give them away into local charities, and you can find different ways of purging, and that will give you room, and it'll also slow down. It puts off that urge to buy if you're concentrating on something else in the moment. That just get things under control. See what you have. See if it's something you really want to keep, and then just set them all aside in the pile, and then decide what to do with each item. And maybe you got a friend, maybe somebody else. You could just either they would give you $1 for them, or maybe you could just give them regifting. There you go, Christmas gifts. So that is number 3. Purge. Go through and purge your collection. Number 4 is to be very selective about what you are going to purchase. Now, some of us go on Amazon and we have a cart. I'm a firm believer in spreading the love around when you're purchasing your items. Take them, try to buy from other sites, look for deals. But when you're setting up a wish list or a cart, whatever you want to call it, maybe it's just a notepad, take a really hard look at the things that you really want to purchase and say to yourself, what are the things that I really want? So you're going to be really selective. What you're going to do is you're going to say to yourself, well, if I'm collecting horror at the moment, what kind of horror? Is it 80s horror? Is it classic horror from the 40s or the 30s? And limit yourself to that. Just make sure that you're sticking within these boundaries. If you give yourself boundaries, you're going to have some freedom. So be selective about what you want to purchase. Stay in a genre, perhaps, and that will give you some boundaries that'll help control your spending. The other thing about being selective is that when we're talking about a cart or a wish list, begin to look at, make a game to yourself that you're not going to purchase so many items. Say to yourself, I'm going to say I want 5 items. Then knock that item down to 3, and then make it a kind of game that you are only going to pick one. Pick one of those items. Now, I know that if you're thinking, for example, that you can buy, well, maybe you could buy 3 used DVDs for $30 as opposed to just one Blu-ray for $30. That's up to you how you spend your money. Maybe it's even less. So you can really just go to the places, go to the used shops, the value stores, and you may find something. Remember to check those discs, put them on an angle, see if you see scratches, kind of look and see if you see sometimes a indication of disc rot, which is something that can happen to DVDs or Blu-rays. That sometimes it'll appear as kind of a coffee stain. You can see like a kind of a water stain in between the layers of the disc. But however, that can be tricky because sometimes that doesn't mean anything. Because I remember reading about a person who actually worked where they pressed DVDs, and they said sometimes that's just how they turn out. So you could have a disc like that. But again, if you're only spending $2, $5, $1, whatever on a disc, and it looks pretty good, chances are it's going to play. And also check the top of the disc too, because scratches on the top of the disc, I believe in a Blu-ray, correct me if I'm wrong, is a little more detrimental than on a DVD, on the top of the disc where there's the paint and that sort of thing. I mean, neither is good. So that's the thing you're going to want to be, is selective. Be very selective, set aside how much you can afford and how much and just make it a game to bring it down. And if you really want to really, really save, and it's something that, for example, you it's not some rare item that just came out. You can say to yourself, I'm not going to purchase that today. You can put it in your cart and you leave it there or in your wish list, and I'm not purchasing it today. Some people will even try to wait for a better deal. And if it's something that's going to be around for a while, put it in the cart. One of my goals right now, I've spent quite a bit on time on this point. One of my goals right now is to just basically get the science fiction, the early science fiction that I have in my collection on DVD, to get a second copy on Blu-ray. Like Fantastic Voyage. I've had Fantastic Voyage on DVD for years, and I actually just got it on Blu-ray. Number 5, Chief, is you got to stay off the internet. If you stay off the internet, you won't see it. If you don't see it, you won't be able to catch it or get it in your net. So I'm telling you, stay off the internet, Chief. It's called a net for a reason. Thank you for that, Sam Squint. But number six is love the one you're with. Yeah. Spend some time with all those DVDs and movies and Blu-rays you have and just check them out. Play them. Yeah, dust off that old classic Star Trek movie series or Indiana Jones or those tons of MST3 capes you have. Give them another look. Get the candy, get the popcorn and the treats, whatever you do, and just enjoy what you already have. Yeah. Love the one you're with. It may not be as bad as you think. You may rekindle some extra fire that you didn't know you had. Ain't that right? Anthony Perkins? Is that you? Number 7, the final tip for how to save money is to start a YouTube channel. Now, it takes forever to get like ad revenue or whatever. It does take a long, long time for that. You have to have a lot of followers. I think it's you have to have something like 4,000 hours at this point and 1,000 followers. But you could start your own channel, sort of like I'm doing here, just to share with others about the movies that you already have. And you say, how's that save me any money? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to get you to go back to look at the things you already have, and you can basically share and talk about these things. And hey, there's weirdos out there just like you. And I mean good weirdos in a good sense. We all love the old classic sci-fi, the horror, the latest movies, and the collectibles. And people are going to love to hear you just talk about the things that you love, the things that you like to have around, the things that make you happy, the movies and the old sci-fi. And they're going to really, really appreciate that. So that's number 7. Start a YouTube channel. And that could really help you, in a weird way, save money, because it's going to keep you busy talking about the things you already own. Okay, that's it for today's episode. It's kind of brief, but there will be a written blog that you can refer to down in the links in the description. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you return and for the next one. And I guess it's been great seeing you. Thanks for following, like, and subscribe, as they say, and see you in the movies.